Well, this week, the poem is going to be by Irish Joe. Joe Lynch is one of the contributors to the wonderful poet breakfasts at Woodford. This particular one is called Ruby Dirra, and a lady called Sharon Joyce joins him. Sharon is one of the funniest people I ever met. Here it is, Ruby Dirra by Irish Joe.
Pick up my coin, O buchel og, and guard it in your honest hand. But turn your eyes from my lusty reel, the decent people band. For I'll dance my dance to feed my wain on the green behind the square, where the paying men conceal their sin with the priests and the peelers there. One day you'll wed my Ruby Jarrag, one day you'll take her hand. For I read it in the stars, dear boy, and the tea leaves in my cup. You'll wed and keep my Ruby Jarrag and share the tinker's sup. And you'll protect her, Danny Joe, and shelter her from scorn. And when she's old enough to dance, she'll dance for you alone. Look, there's a gold coin over there. Now quickly, pick it up.
The balmy summer days gave way to a winter fierce and bleak, and the tinkers freezing in the glen were dying by the week. One snowy night the banshee cried, dawn broke the painful answer. Another foxy tinker gone, the young one of the dancer. That night I warmed her icy grave with tears from off my cheek. I never saw that clan again. They might be in Kildare, or down in Cork beside the Leash, or they could be anywhere. Mending pots, reading palms, fighting for their supper, for the tinker sure knows how to live, and he sure knows how to suffer. What's that? You've heard of them in Clare? My laughing grandson chased a roo out of my garden patch, and the kookaburras are laughing too. I think they're going to hatch. The lemon myrtle in the air soothes my weary soul as I doze beneath a Queensland sun and dream on days of yore. So long ago, so far away, the tea leaves got it wrong, 'twould seem. Was it in another world, or was it just an old man's dream? Yeah, maybe just an old man's dream of a campfire quiet to fall asleep beneath a starry sky, with red-haired Ruby in his arms, humming Danny Boy in the flickering firelight gleam.
Shirt and baggy pants, the old soft shoe. When he jumped so high, and then he lightly touched down. I met him in a cell in New Orleans. I was so down and out. To me to be the very eyes of age, as he spoke right out. He talked of life, When he laughed, he clicked his heels and he stared. Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles. Through tears of 15 years, how his dog and he, they would travel all about. Well, his dog up and died, and after 20 years, he's still as he shook his head, I heard someone ask him, please, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, dance.
The very accomplished group Soonus, and they brought us Mr. Bojangles. The vocalist there was none other than Sarah Calderwood, who also played the flute on that track. Wonderful stuff, and it's still available. It's called Celtic Road. You can get it at the ABC shop. Before that, we heard from Irish Joe. Now, if you want to get a copy of Irish Joe's album, you need to get in touch with him at accuratediggings@hotmail.com. Let's have a song now from someone who hasn't been on the show for some time. His name is Martin Pearson.
Early in the morning, factory whistle blows. Man rises from bed and puts on his clothes. Man takes his lunchbox out in the morning light. The work, the work, the working life. The work, the work, the working life. Oh dear me, the mill is running fast. We poor shifters can get no rest. Piece and spinning, bobbin, warp, weft and twine. Oh, they fairly make you work for your 10 and 9. Through the mansions of fear, through the mansions of pain, see my daddy walking through those factory gates in the rain. Factory takes his hearing, factory gives him life. The work, the work, the working life. The work, the work, the working life. Oh dear me, this world is ill divided. Those who work the hardest, they are the least provided. I must be contented, dark days and fine, for they fairly make you work for you 10 and 9. End of the day, factory whistle cry. Men walk through these gates with death in their eyes. And you'd better believe somebody's going to be hurt tonight. The work, the work, the working life. The work, the work, the working.
Well, we heard their Factory and the Jute Mill Song. And it's the first song of Bruce Springsteen observation on modern-day factory life in America. The Jute Mill Song sounds as if it would be much older, but was written in 1964 by Mary Brookshank. The first two lines are a ditty she learned from the actual mill workers. The singer there was Martin Pearson, and on harmonica, isn't that beautiful the way that harmonica is played? It's Chris Payne. The guitar was one Alex Legg, and Alex celebrates his 60th birthday today, so happy birthday, Alex. And beautiful played. It's a lovely album, that one. It's called Martin Pearson and the MP3, Songs of Sedition and Swing. You're listening to Kaleidoscope, and my name is Carl Johnson. On the 26th of May, which is in 2 days' time, the Cairns Folk and Roots Club is going to have a folk and flamenco night. And the stars of this get-together are Penny Larkin and Carl Pannuzzo. And I have Carl on the line right now. Are you there, Carl?
Yes, Carl, hello.
Oh, fine, thanks. How's yourself?
Yes, not too bad, thanks.
Good. Now, have you been up this way before?
I have in a couple of different guises. I think Penny also has in another guise, but together we haven't. So this is our first time as a duo up there, which will be great.
Great, yes. Well, of course, I can vouch for the quality of the act from the Woodford concerts that both of you have given.
Yeah, they were fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love doing festivals.
Great. Well, we'll bear that in mind in future.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also like doing folk clubs. Actually, probably house concerts are one of our favourite things to do because they're so intimate, and we find a similar sort of feeling at folk clubs because everyone's sort of, engaged in the same sort of listening space, really. And we're fairly quiet as music goes, so it's kind of a fairly nice indulgence to have that.
Right. Now, you say Penny is unable to talk to us at the moment. Everything?
What's kind of interesting is that she's currently in hospital. She's incredibly pregnant, and she also rolled her ankle yesterday. So she's up in Bendigo Hospital at the moment, and they don't have any reception there. The more curious thing about this is that the last time we were in Cairns together, it was actually to go to Music on Magnetic, and the main purpose for us, the main drive to go there, was to learn some flamenco from the wonderful Simone Pope, who's just one of my heroes, and she rolled her ankle the day before we went up to far North Queensland that time too. So it could have been quite funny to have imagined a pregnant woman, with a rolled ankle trying out some flamenco, but we're not the flamenco part of the flamenco and folk night. So
no, we realise that. Look, is this the only concert you're doing here on the 26th of May at the Folk and Roots?
Yes, it is.
It's a flying visit, I understand. You're flying in on...
a flying visit, yeah. There's also a lovely healer woman up there that Penny's going to see who does specific things for pregnant people, and we love to travel, basically, and if we can make it affordable and whatnot, and moments like this where unless we get 1,000 people along, and certainly you're all welcome, we may not cover that cost, but it's for us, it's part of the joy of sharing our music and being in different places. And, yeah.
Yeah, look, the thing is, if this is going to be just a one-off, bang, bang, in and out, you've got to take more time. Next time, the three of you will have to come up, and we'll have all three of you on stage, no doubt.
Yeah.
The poor kid hasn't got a hope with both mother and father in the entertainment.
No. He or she'll be playing bass and backup vocals, I'm sure.
Right. Now,
we do love it up there. We would love to have taken more time, but things being what they are, then things are limited. So.
Yeah, look, there are a number of venues up here now. Live music is starting to pick up again up in far north Queensland. Right. Not in the pubs anymore, but in the cafes.
Oh, lovely.
And it is the cafe scene that seems to have cottoned in where and moved in on the, shall we say, the vacuum created by the pubs.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's proving to be very, very successful up here.
Yeah,
people are just flocking to. There's a number of cafes now in Cairns that do it. And the word goes around on the Facebook pages. Well, it's at so and so tonight. It's 7 o'clock maybe, and everybody goes there. And so they do this round of the various cafes that are putting on these shows.
Beautifully casual atmosphere, so really easy to relax and enjoy.
Absolutely. Now you have 2 albums out. Will you be bringing those with you?
Yes.
Great. Can you tell us something about? Let's start with The Cradle.
Well, The Cradle is our most recent, and it was actually a really interesting thing that inspired the becoming of that record. A few things were the death of Simon Neils, who is a beautiful guitarist, singer-songwriter from Western Australia, who actually used the last of his good health before cancer took him to recording and playing on our first album. And this was already a beautiful thing, and we really rather celebrate him than mourn him, because he really did leave some beautiful music and played some gorgeous things with us. And while it might seem a little doom and gloom, we also, as unfortunately is not an uncommon thing for people to experience, we lost a baby last year at a fairly late term, and the idea of The Cradle was something that could be quite nurturing, and also potentially turbulent. Potentially, there's so many things to do with that. And what we found in our music and from people's responses is they receive, among other things, I mean, hopefully the quality of the music is well, we've been told, world class and all that's very nice. But there's an extra point of a sense of nurture within the music. It's nothing that we try to lay on thick, and certainly it's not a guaranteed. It's not like we guarantee, we're not interested in people coming for a healing or anything like that. It's just a matter that somehow there's something between the symbiosis of us working together and the harmonies and the songs we choose and the way that Penny especially can interpret them and also write them. But she has such an incredible command that is so generous and empathetic that you sort of can't help but take something more than just a great singer away from the experience. So it's kind of interesting. We've been talking a lot recently about, well, what is modern Australian folk? Because essentially that's kind of what we are. We're not very traditional, though we do respect the traditions and hark to them occasionally. We write our own stuff, but it's not alt-root country. It's not particularly anything. You just say it's basically contemporary acoustic folk. And what we find is that the element of folk that is storytelling is the thing that really keeps coming through. And Penny's ability to really deliver a story in such a potent way, but still so gently, is, I think, something of an incredible affect. And I personally love playing with her for that reason. And I think that's what people really take away from our concerts.
Well, yes, this is certainly a very nice album, and I have to admit I've been sticking with the tracks that I've been putting to air. I've been sticking to yours and Penny's compositions rather than the other ones that you've got here. So for a change today, I might actually play one of the ones for somebody else. And tell us about the other one that you sent me, which was, I think, Pot and Kettle.
Well, Black and Blue, we used to be called Pot and Kettle. It's quite funny, when we first did a gig, and being in a partnership is also quite a funny thing to witness for audiences. Our sort of on-stage banter or repartee is often spontaneous and unedited, and can seem quite, hopefully, humorously in the way of looking at things that only a partnership can really show. And so it became a little bit like, pot calling the kettle black, and so therefore we originally called ourselves Pot and Kettle, until enough people said, either it sounds like a kid's band, or we didn't really understand it, and actually your names are known enough as individuals to just go by your own names, and so we did that. But Black and Blue itself, the album, was again just a sort of a collecting of ourselves and our energies and our ability to bring some of those things to the fore. And some of those songs are still among people's favourites. Certainly, as you do with recording projects, we've honed our craft, and we're really in love with the Cradle as well. So it's a special thing to have a recording that, again, can deliver that sort of personal intimacy or quietude that I think actually is one of the reasons that people do enjoy recordings, because otherwise you've had a good live experience and it doesn't quite recreate on a recording. I think we've actually managed, fortunately, to be able to encapsulate that in a way enough to recreate that for people, that live experience, as well as it being just good quality recordings.
Yeah, I certainly have to agree with you there. And look, to be honest with you, we are really looking forward to you being here. A little bit disappointed it's going to be so brief. But look, I do have...
For too long, we might fear moving up.
Well, that's a fantastic idea. Well, we can give you quite a few venues there, and we'll certainly see what we can do about the house concerts. Look, I have the Cradle on the turntable, to use an old expression. Would you like to select one of the tracks then?
Well, look, I think actually the Cradle itself is a beautiful track. If you want to go for something softer, and that's one of Simon Neill's songs that we love to be able to perform. If you were talking of another cover, Eric Bogle's Ibrahim, which is a song written 12 years ago and sadly could have been written yesterday, that the issue is still current about asylum seekers and our treatment of them.
Yes.
And,
or mistreatment of them.
Sort of a harder edge thing, but unlike Eric, it's sung by Penny as a lead, and it's a cappella. So there's another interesting dimension there. So maybe I'll throw the choice back to you.
Thank you very much. You know that I'm a Libran, don't you?
Yeah. So is Penny.
And this is just too much. Look, I think what I might do is opt for. It looks like I'm going to have to go for track 2 because the machine's not letting me go to number 11.
Oh, great. Well, then the Cradle it is.
So it's the Cradle. Look, I know that you've got to get back to Penny. You're very busy, and I appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us, Carl. Look forward to you both being here.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll see you on the 26th at the Machin's Beach Hall, 7 p.m. Lovely. Thanks for talking to us. Bye for now.
Tell me, what do you think of Australia? Do our beautiful desert sunsets fill you with wonder? As the sky catches fire and the trees and the mountains change color. But I guess the view from this side of the barbed wire's much better. So Ibrahim, can you tell me, why did you come here? What dream were you chasing, and what did you hope to find here? Did you flee from your own native land just because your life was in danger? Or were the reasons much more mundane, just poverty and hunger? Wrong path, wrong choice, wrong creed, wrong culture, wrong place, wrong time, wrong dream and wrong color. You see, Abraham, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. Being hungry and poor bestows no special status upon you. We won't send you back if you can prove they'd imprison or kill you. But if you're just going back home to starve, I'm afraid we can't help you. You see, Abraham, you've become a bit of a problem. This world's full of refugees fleeing poverty, war and oppression. So to take in cute jumpers like you, well, it's out of the question. It would give the world's hungry and poor the wrong impression. Wrong path, wrong choice, wrong creed, wrong culture, wrong place, wrong time, wrong dream and wrong color. I'm afraid, Abraham, it's time to be totally candid. You had Buckley's chance right from the moment you landed. Already too many a threat and a danger you were branded. And all because you follow the Prophet Mohammed. You didn't count, Abraham, on political opportunism. Our leaders knew that to many Australians the very word Muslim meant Al-Qaeda, Hamas, the Taliban and terrorism. And that's why you and your family are locked up in prison. Wrong path, wrong choice, wrong creed, wrong culture, wrong place, wrong time, wrong dream and wrong color.
Well, we finally got to play the correct track there. And it's called Ibrahim, written by Eric Bogle and sung there so beautifully by Penny Larkins and Carl Pannuzzo. Now, they will be here in Cairns on the 26th of May, that's 2 days' time, at the Cairns Folk and Roots Folk and Flamenco Night at the Machin's Beach Hall. And it will be featuring Johannes, Bob Ellison, Covard, as well as Penny and Carl. And the admission is only $10, $5 for children. And all the music goes, or all the money goes into the venue. Nobody gets any cuts of that. It's all to help promote the music, local live music scene here in Cairns.
Searing, scorched by the sun. A tree caught fire, now life is on the run. The fire's hungry, you can hear it roar. The blaze takes houses, soaring sparks take care for more. A firefighter faces fate. His tears are flowing for those who left too late. Signs were out there within range. The drought took too long, and I heard somebody say, climate change. Rain was welcome, but it did not drop. The roads, the river, and the water ruins the crop. An old man's moving to the second floor. Life was downstairs, but downstairs is no more. A whole town flooded, cars swept away. The kettle's drowning, this is it, this is doomsday. Signs were out there within range. Storms turn wilder, and I heard somebody say, climate change. Africa's deserts are on advance. Against Katrina, New Orleans had no chance. Snowstorms in Athens, heatwave in France. Temperatures rising, leaving idle men in trance. Comes tomorrow, sea levels rise. Countries will vanish, men will pay a heavy price. Signs are out there within range. Ice is melting, and I heard somebody say, climate change. I heard somebody say, climate change.
That's a local man from Port Douglas, and his name is Frank Fricker. Now, Frank's album is called Tomorrow I'll Be Okay, and we heard Climate Change. Now, also on Saturday evening, if you're in Yungaburra or up on the Tablelands, there's a Yungaburra Folk Festival night, a get-together. I don't have the full details here, but they are looking for volunteers who can help out on the night. It will be a great night. It's lovely up in Yungaburra with the acoustic music around. And it's a fundraiser for the Tablelands Folk Festival, which is due to be held in October. So if you're up that way, or even if you're halfway there, it might be worthwhile dropping in and having a listen to some great music at the Yungaburra Hotel for the Tablelands Folk Festival.
Heading south just a few miles out of Coolangatta, along the beach where time and blues don't really matter, and with nothing in my way, I'm heading down to Byron Bay, where the sets roll on in perfect time, and I'll be waiting for you. Sun's burning hot and dry here in the summer, but the ocean's cool and blue, and it's no wonder that I'm riding waves all day, partying the nights away. I know I need some rest, but I ain't got time, and I'll be waiting for you. I guess my new life's just begun, so come down when you can, and I'll be waiting for you. I met some friends down here who know all about the weather. They say it's never too cold to surf, don't get much better. Well, you know I got things to do, I guess I'm really missing you. I gotta go, the surf's come up and I'm missing out, but I'm still waiting for you.
Well, we heard there from Christian, and I'll be waiting for you. And he just lives out at Clifton Beach, and another great artist that we have here in far north Queensland. Just to change the pace a bit here, we're going to the David Grisman Quintet with a composition by David, and this is for all those sick and injured out there that seem to be. It's a lot of the people I know at the moment are either injured or sick or both. And so this is for you if you're listening, and it's called Pneumonia. I trust you enjoyed that. That's the David Grisman Quintet with Pneumonia. And the David Grisman Quintet, oh, what a lineup. Darryl Anger, Tony Rice, David himself, of course, Bill Amatic, and Todd Phillips. Well, you can't go far wrong with a lineup like that, can you? Here's Australia's own Elisa Liana. But before I play Elisa, I just got a message from Jeremiah Johnson. He is, and I'll read it to you verbatim. Hey folks, I really need your help to get the word out that my album, Postcards, is to be launched on the 1st of June at the Tanks. So Jeremiah Johnson's album, it's his second album called Postcards, will be launched at the Tanks on the 1st of June. I think you'll agree that's a beautiful piece of music from Alyssa Liana. The album is called Secret Garden, and what she played there was the owl, the fairy, and the grasshopper. And that just about wraps it up for Kaleidoscope for this week. Cole Johnson signing off and saying thank you for having me at your place, and be back next week. Bye for now.